So, Westside Transport is a full truckload carrier. So we haul what's called dry van or just your regular trailers, full load. And we've been around since the 70s, in business since the 70s here in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. As far as what we haul for cargo, it's commodity. So our position in the supply chain would be like your industrial zone. So for example, here in Cedar Rapids, it's no secret we haul for International Paper, big customer of ours, Whirlpool, down there in Amana, Quaker/Pepsi. Those are the major ones. So if you're driving your car around Cedar Rapids, around Iowa, that's what's probably in the trailer. So we have a terminal here in Cedar Rapids. Other locations include our terminals in Chicago. I mentioned Detroit, Columbus, Ohio, Minneapolis, Chattanooga, and Indianapolis as well. Yeah, so multiple drop yards. Our company is roughly, just for your purposes, you can say about 500 trucks. So an electronic logging device, as mandated by the FMCSA, is supposed to log a driver's duty status, otherwise known as hours of service. So drivers are limited to specific times or amount of times that they're allowed to drive in a given period. Just for reference, it's 70 hours a week of total on duty, right? It's 11 hours per day of driving, 14 hours per day of on duty. So you're going to have a few hours of them fueling, switching trailers, etc. So it logs that. And companies more and more have been integrating the logging, the duty status of it with their dispatch system. So sending their load plans through, and then eventually, GPS got integrated into it. And so you've just seen more and more technology stacks on these devices. The most recent iteration we decided to invest in, Isaac Instruments. The further technology has actually started integrating with the truck manufacturer, kind of black box technology. So just like our personal vehicles sort of see the trickle down effect of technologies from the race cars, from the industries, and the consumer gets the benefit of that. So other technologies that have been added are simply the ability to monitor your speed now. We can now monitor your miles per gallon. We can monitor your acceleration pressure. We can monitor your turning gravimetric force, how fast you're turning, compared to how much you weigh, and are you turning too fast? We can measure your coasting speed. We can measure your idle time. There are probably 50 data points that we can pull in now. Dang near everything. Yeah, if it's a data point, we can measure it. Aside from the ELDs, we also have your cameras, like your forward-facing cameras that are connected to our satellite. So if an event occurs, that gets uploaded via satellite, not just cell signal, but satellite, and within minutes we can see that event, right? Like if it's a hard brake, well, that event gets flagged, uploaded, and within minutes, that gentleman over there in our safety department can view it on his computer and say, okay, wow, let's fix this, or let's address the issue. It ties into our overall strategy of corporate responsibility, corporate sustainability, to basically reduce our overall impact, specifically CO2. We're a trucking company, so we do recognize that our main impact on the environment is the combustion of our diesel fuel. So, but our major impact, aka our Scope 1 emissions, is the combustion of diesel fuel, and so we've focused all our strategy to reduce that. It is self-serving because it also saves us money, on paying for fuel. Even a 1%, savings or efficiency, when you consider we run 50 million miles combined a year, is huge. What we've done with this new Isaac system, and part of the reason it integrates into our strategy, is we're now able to change the behavior of our drivers, because technology and what we can go out in the marketplace and purchase ourselves economically only goes so far, right? Everyone is out there purchasing the same Freightliner, right? Or the same Peterbilt. And the manufacturers, yeah, they offer different trim levels, and you can spec out this truck as much as you want for efficiencies. You can put the little wind guards on them. You can really trick it out. But in the end, you run into science and physics, right? And so if you're burning 8 miles a gallon, you're doing fantastic, right? And so we started focusing on the behavior of the drivers, and this technology allows the driver to get instant feedback on said behavior. So instant feedback means a behavioral change. In particular, acceleration pressure. Just like most modern cars have that little eco, whatever, like you're doing good, you're doing bad. We never had that before. So we had to add our kind of aftermarket system to it. So what we have found in our testing, and this has taken us about a year or so to come up with these metrics, and just, so it's not a random number, out of thin air. It's what our drivers are, what they're doing, what they can do, and what the potential is. Our top drivers, right, the guys that we know on how we previously measured the fuel efficiencies, even they found, okay, this helped me. So just in the testing phase, we've seen great results, and Isaac themselves has done this with other carriers. We're not trailblazing this by any means. Maybe around here we are, and they've reported 5 to 15% on fuel savings. We don't expect the 15%. I think that's salesy, but we are certainly seeing the potential for 5 to about the 5% range. Again, when you consider the millions of gallons we purchase a year and the amount of CO2 that burns, does make an impact. Yeah. So we, before this measurement system came out, we had already rolled out. As a matter of fact, I think August of last year is when every single truck in the fleet, finally got installed to the new one. And that was a monumental effort, as you can imagine. Huge investment, thousands of dollars. So yes, it's in every single truck that we operate. So the behavioral thing is a multi-pronged approach. In the sustainability report, you'll see some other strategies that we have going. Speed limiters, right? So when I first started working here, I was always confused why there was 2 trucks side by side on I-80. I'm trying to get to Davenport, and they're both just in a turtle race. Well, they're both governed. They're both governed to maybe 1 mile an hour of each other, and that's why this one can't pass the other one. Of course, the reason for the governed speed, the faster you go, the more inefficient it becomes. But we do have another strategy, technology-wise, and that's CNG, compressed natural gas, or basically propane. So we have 2 trucks in the fleet right now that operate CNG, and those are doing okay. It's with 2 trucks, it's such a little data set that we need more. But in order for us to economically make that investment, we have to find the right way to do it logistically, because there's only so many CNG filling stations in our operating area. There's none in Cedar Rapids, 0. There's one in Davenport. The infrastructure and the technology and really the incentives just are not there. Our partner companies, our customers, of course, want us to be as sustainable as possible, right? As least footprint as possible, because we are their scopes 2 and 3 when they report to their shareholders. And so they ask us, Westside, what are you doing to reduce it? Well, customer, we can only do so much. What are you going to do to guarantee we have this business so we can invest in this technology that costs about twice as much? Otherwise, we'll just go out of business. So it's we're going to have to get more tax incentives. We're going to have to get an Eisenhower-like sustainability, renewable fuel system, even electric. We would love to electrify our shuttle lanes, which are like your home daily stuff, right? Not the OTR stuff. We would love to electrify our lanes around here. It's just simply cost prohibitive. We would quite literally go out of business, and any rates we would charge that customer to make up for that would be non-competitive. But we believe the CNG is a good stepping stone. The industry is changing. The customers are more concerned nowadays than they seem to be even 2 years ago. I'm not going to talk politics, but that's where it's coming from, right? That's the shareholders, if you will, the publicly traded companies are now worried about these things. Why is that? Maybe it's the carbon credits, whether you think that's a scam or whether you think that's going to help. It's real. There's a carbon marketplace now. When companies are kind of held accountable, even though they're not, fined, right? There's no penalty for this, but when they're actually held accountable, I think when light is shed on the situation, when the conversations are being had, you do see change. And I've seen that change personally. So we're all just trying to figure it out at this stage. There are consulting companies out there that, can come in and help, but even they, in my opinion, within the trucking space, we all don't really know. We're just doing our best. Yeah. But there's definitely a conversation shift in the last couple of years specifically, and I see it just going further down that road. Yeah.